Hi, I'm Bella, and I am the manager of Rockwood Nature Center in Chesterfield County. So we're in Henrico right now. Chesterfield is kind of like the little bottom beard of the Richmond region. We're a pretty big county. So Rockwood is in North Chesterfield. If you guys have never been, it's really cute if I do say so myself. And I'm also presenting with Courtney, who is my lead educator and animal keeper. We're going to talk a little bit more about what we've been doing to model ethical herping and ethical and advanced ectotherm care in Chesterfield and in Central Virginia. So I'll introduce myself super fast. I went to VCU. That's how I ended up in this region. I moved from being just an animal keeper into environmental education, and I've been working in both of those fields for about 10 years now. I'm focused on herpetology and ornithology. Those are kind of our 2-point focuses at Rockwood. And then I started at Chesterfield 5 years ago as a seasonal, and I worked my way up to being the manager of the Nature Center. And I also keep herps at home. So I love herps, been keeping them my whole life.
And I'm Courtney. I've been with Chesterfield Parks and Recreation for about a year as the lead keeper and educator. If you've been to Maymont, I used to work at Maymont, so you might have known me from there. But I have a strong background in environmental education, done some field work, and done some animal keeping before my role at Rockwood. And I went to Virginia Tech and got my degree in wildlife conservation. In addition to my daily animal care duties as the primary keeper, I conduct most of our school and youth programming. We've been doing our foray into SOL-based education, trying to reach the Chesterfield County public schools with that education as much as we can, both in the classroom and doing field trips out to Rockwood as well.
All right, so we are so lucky to have such an established presence in Central Virginia with Rockwood. This is just showing 2 comparative pictures of a part of our educational gallery. On the right, we have our 2025 shot. So we've moved away from really sterile habitats and into bioactive, naturalistic, very advanced herpetological care in our collection. And we're also constantly evaluating our exhibits and trying really hard to push this advancement of herpetological literacy here in Chesterfield. So a lot of our exhibits are very herp-based and very herp-focused.
So yeah, Rockwood's been around for a while. The original Nature Center was built in the 1980s, but then it burned to the ground very dramatically.
It was arson.
Yeah, it was arson. The log cabin that houses the Nature Center today was finished in 1993 with the addition of the classroom in 2004. And then recently it was renovated about 3 years ago into what it is now. So it's always had a strong environmental education presence within Chesterfield County. Mark in the left picture still works for Chesterfield today. Or no, volunteers.
Yeah.
He works for Chesterfield still today. So people have known Mark for a long time, started developing environmental education there till today, where you can see me there with a cute little garter snake doing environmental education program at the center now.
So as I said, we are 100% focused on native herpetofauna. If you guys had been to Rockwood a long time ago, it was not always the case. We did have exotic herpetofauna there for a long time. We are 100% native now. We do have a red-eared slider, unfortunately, and that is because of the issues that Courtney was talking about. They are everywhere, so it's important for us to talk about them. But we have nearly native 30 native reptiles and amphibians. We also have fish and invertebrates. Our mission is nature in our backyard. So we're focusing on animals that our people in Chesterfield can actually go outside into their backyard, into their local park and see if they flip a log, if they look in a tree. So it's really helping people connect to their local community in this Richmond metro area. We utilize advanced husbandry and focus on creating replicas of the natural habitat. So we're using native plants in our enclosures. We are breeding native cleanup crew, so isopods, springtails, stuff like that. We're really focused on locality right now. So we're actually using samples from our parks to build this. So it's kind of a niche thing, but we're definitely working with other facilities in our state, and we'll mention that a little bit later.
And we've been working really hard to make the environment around the Nature Center modeling like good native Central Virginia habitat as well. This is our pond out front. If you've ever been to Rockwood throughout the years, at one point it was full of goldfish, not modeling a good native habitat. We've gotten the goldfish out, And now in there we have 5 species of sunfish and 1 largemouth bass named Gary. So if you come along during the day, you might see us feeding them. They're target trained, so we're doing the best possible care for those animals out in the pond, just like the the animals that we have inside. We've been working really closely with our friend Henry at Woolly Bear Natives. If anyone's heard about him, he lives in Henrico and he's amazing. You should definitely buy native plants from him. He very graciously grew us a ton of native plants, and we've been working on planting those around the center. And as you can see, they're popping off. They're really happy. Don't look great right now, but in the summer and spring, they look amazing, in early fall too. Around the Nature Center, we've also been doing native plant plantings. If you knew about Rockwood Nature Center before, we used to have a European honey bee hive. We're not doing that anymore. We got rid of the European honeybee hive. We're planting native plants, and we're trying to encourage native pollinators to use that area as much as possible. And obviously it works, because we do get copperheads, garter snakes, racers, black rats around the property, lots of salamanders, lots of frogs, lots of toads utilizing the pond and the areas around the pond. So seeing that come up from what it used to be is very cool and very exciting, and the guests really like it.
Yeah, and on top of that, we are encouraging nesting behavior. We're laying logs, we're laying cover, we're leaving brush, all that stuff. So we're actually creating this reptile habitat so we can be a model for our community, and we can show people what they can do in their yards. Because our little nature center looks just like a house. So we're like, hey, look at that. It could be yours. And then we're going to jump into what we're doing with our community science. So you guys have already talked a lot about Frog Watch. We also do Frog Watch. We are not chapter coordinators. We're just coordinators for the Chesterfield area. And we did our first year of Frog Watch last year. We had a rough time with retention. So we are going to potentially try again. It is a lot of staff hours. So we're going to do our very best to try again. But yeah, it is on top of Frog Watch. We're also building this community science base with surveys. So we're doing a lot of in-county surveys with Chesterfield. So what we're doing is we're using the VHS template. We're going out, we're inviting people from the public to join us. We do have a cap on our surveys because it's usually just us. But we charge a very minimal, it's $5 to come with us on the survey, just so that we make sure people feel like they can show up and are not like, oh, it's free, I'm not going to go. But we go out to all of our parks all over Chesterfield, and we do vernal pool surveys. We do terrestrial surveys. We also do aquatic surveys. We've offered 25 public programs, served over 650 participants since we really started focusing mostly on herpetology. And then we're also working closely with Chesterfield County Public Schools, which, like Courtney said, we've developed an SOL-based program to provide over 100 field trips to thousands of students. I mean, I think we're over 2,000 now. So we've really focused hard on this community science background now. We're able to develop a lot of really awesome guidelines for ethical herping that we're sharing with the community, and hopefully creating the next generation of ethical herpers.
Yeah, where's Kate?
Which we have here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to promote good field practices. Because I mean, working at a nature center, you get people coming in all the time and being like, oh, I found this animal in my yard, now I got a shovel and blah, blah, blah. But it's like trying to promote, what we can do, what you should do, like destigmatizing these animals and teaching them that no, they do need to be, taken care of properly. And a lot of times you don't even have to pick up these animals. We can observe them and take data on them without ever touching them. So just trying to get that promoted in Central Virginia among people who want to go out and find really cool animals.
Yeah, so our programming takes lots of different shapes, though. We do a lot of herpetological programming outside of our community science and our public school programs as well. So we see a lot of people come into the Nature Center for our programming. We also do a lot of outreach outside of the Nature Center. We go to tabling events. We go all over the county, all over the region. And then on the bottom, there's a picture of us doing one of our surveys. And it's a good segue into the next slide, where we're going to talk a little bit more about our conservation. So we're currently working on a site-specific box turtle conservation project where we're basically just meeting the locals. We're gathering a database of all the box turtles that are on our 100 acres of wooded land at Rockwood Park. It is a very suburban park, completely surrounded by water, roads, and neighborhoods. So it's a nice little sample size for us to be able to see how box turtles are faring in our area. And we've done a ton of work this summer. It was a huge field season. We added 30 turtles to our database. We were able to get data on 5 returning turtles, So it was really, really cool to see how things are going in Rockwood. We are also, as you guys can see in the top right corner, doing that VHS surveys all over Chesterfield County. So we are about to submit like a metric ton of data to VHS about the species that we've just found in our last field season. And then on the bottom, you can see that we're also doing a snake hoverboard survey for Rockwood Park. So that is Rockwood Park specific right now, but we're hoping to expand it to other county-owned land, where we're figuring out what species of snakes are hanging out in those areas. And we're hoping to kind of get a little bit more of that static recording, because going out by foot isn't always the most productive way to find who's living there. So
one last thing about that.
Yeah.
Please pay attention to the VHS, like Facebook and stuff like that, because they do promote our surveys out here in Central Virginia. So if you ever want to come out, we want people to come out. We want people to bring new people along. So please keep your ear and eye out for that. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good.
In the coming spring for when we're doing vernal pools and terrestrial herp survey.
I have some dates to rapid fire at you guys, but don't feel any pressure to write them down. They will be advertised. Our vernal pool programs are happening at Dutch Gap on Saturday, April 4th from 9 to 11:30. At Radcliffe, which if you guys have not been yet and you're in this area, please go. It's so amazing. There's reds, there's cottonmouths. It's so awesome. And that's on Saturday, March 14th. And those are vernal pools. And then we are doing brand new this year. We're partnering with 2 of our state partners. So we're doing Pocahontas State Park on Saturday, April 18th from 9 to 11:30. And then Chesterfield State Forest, Saturday, May 2nd from 9 to 11:30. And both of those are Scarlet King areas. So I'm just saying, pretty cool. So moving on from our conservation and our programming, we also want to give a shout out to our amazing team of dedicated animal keepers and programmers. Ryan, who's here, and Kerrigan are our 2 part-time animal keepers, and we are the team. We do this alone. We run all of this. Courtney and I work our freaking butts off to make this show happen, but Kerrigan and Ryan keep us afloat. They're phenomenal. They keep our animals happy and safe, so we could not do this without them. And I want to shout out that we are building a network. So my friends who work in animal care in Virginia, please talk to me at the end. I have cards, I have stickers. Please come meet up with me, because we are building the Nature Center Animal Care Network. And Sarah at 3 Lakes Nature Center in Henrico County is on our board as well. We are building this together. It is a collaborative effort. It is so hard. Please help us. We need more voices. We need more input. This is to improve our animal welfare standards across the state of Virginia. We're also providing educational resources to each other. We're connecting nature centers. We want to be strong together. So feel free to check us out on Instagram. We're still working on it, but it's happening. We don't have a ton of time for questions. We want to thank our partners, and one that I did not include is 3 Lakes Nature Center. We could not have done this without Henrico County. I didn't put their logo up there, but like they have been essential to our growth as a nature center. So we are so grateful. Thank you so much.